In the vibrant, fast-paced city of Nairobi, there lived a woman named Zahara. She was in her late 30s, strikingly beautiful, and known for her immense wealth and lavish lifestyle. Zahara had built her fortune through a chain of high-end boutiques and real estate investments, but her true power lay in her charm and allure. She was a woman who knew what she wanted and wasn't afraid to take it, no matter the cost. Zahara's mansion in the upscale neighborhood of Karan was the talk of the town. It was a place where the elite gathered, where champagne flowed like water, and where dreams were both made and shattered. But behind the glittering facade, Zahara had a dark secret. She used her wealth and beauty to seduce young, ambitious men, promising them the world, only to discard them when she grew bored. One evening, at one of her infamous parties, Zahara met Kofi, a 22-year-old aspiring musician. Kofi was tall, handsome, and full of dreams. He had come to Nairobi from a small village, hoping to make it big in the music industry. When Zahara approached him, her eyes gleaming with interest, Kofi was starstruck. "You have talent," Zahara said, her voice smooth as silk. "But talent alone isn't enough. You need connections, opportunities. Let me help you." Kofi, dazzled by her charm and the promise of success, quickly fell under her spell. Within weeks, he moved into Zahara's mansion, trading his modest life for one of luxury. She bought him expensive clothes, took him on exotic vacations, and introduced him to influential people in the industry. Kofi felt like he was living a dream. The cracks began to show. At first, Kofi was grateful for everything Zahara had done for him. But as time went on, he began to notice her controlling nature. She dictated what he wore, who he spoke to, and even the kind of music he should make. Kofi's dreams of artistic freedom slowly faded, replaced by a growing sense of unease. One night, after a heated argument about his music, Zahara coldly said, "You'd be nothing without me, Kofi. Remember that." Those words cut deep. Kofi realized that Zahara didn't truly care about him or his dreams. She only cared about the power she held over him. The breaking point. Months passed, and Zahara's interest in Kofi waned. She began to flirt with other young men at her parties, leaving Kofi feeling invisible and used. One evening, after a particularly humiliating incident, Kofi confronted her. "You don't love me," he said, his voice trembling with anger. "You just love controlling me." Zahara laughed, a cold, dismissive sound. "Love? Don't be naive, Kofi. This was never about love. It was about fun. And now, I'm bored." With that, she ended their relationship, leaving Kofi heartbroken and adrift. He moved out of the mansion, carrying nothing but his guitar and the shattered pieces of his dreams. The aftermath. Kofi wasn't the first young man Zahara had used and discarded, and he wouldn't be the last. But this time, something was different. Kofi decided he wouldn't let Zahara's actions define him. He channeled his pain into his music, writing raw, emotional songs about betrayal, resilience, and self-worth. One of his songs, "Broken Chains," went viral. It resonated with people who had experienced similar heartbreak and manipulation. Kofi's career began to take off, and he gained a loyal following. Meanwhile, Zahara continued her cycle of seduction and abandonment, unaware of the growing resentment among the men she had cast aside. The reckoning. One night, Zahara hosted what would be her final party. The mansion was filled with laughter, music, and the clinking of glasses. But beneath the surface, tension simmered. A group of young men, Kofi among them, had come together to confront Zahara. As the night wore on, Kofi stepped forward, his guitar in hand. The room fell silent as he began to sing "Broken Chains." The lyrics were a direct indictment of Zahara's actions, and the crowd listened in stunned silence. When the song ended, Kofi looked directly at Zahara. "You thought you could use us and throw us away," he said, his voice steady. "But we are not your toys. We are human beings, and we deserve better. The other men nodded in agreement, sharing their own stories of how Zahara had manipulated and hurt them. The once untouchable queen of Nairobi's elite found herself exposed and humiliated. After being betrayed by Zahara, Kofi channeled his pain into his music. His song, Broken Chains, became an anthem for resilience and self-worth, resonating with millions. Kofi's career skyrocketed, and he became a symbol of hope for young artists across Africa. His concerts sold out, his social media following exploded, and he was invited to perform at major events. However, Kofi began to feel the pressure of fame. He wanted to maintain his influence and keep his audience captivated. One night, after a particularly exhausting performance, an old friend told him about a powerful native doctor who could help him amplify his influence. Desperate to stay on top, Kofi decided to seek out the doctor. Zahara's desperation. Meanwhile, Zahara watched Kofi's success from afar, seething with jealousy. She couldn't stand seeing him flourish without her. Determined to regain control, Zahara visited the same native doctor, hoping to use his powers to manipulate Kofi. The native doctor, a mysterious figure with deep knowledge of ancient rituals, listened to Zahara's request. To control him, the doctor said, "I need something that holds his essence, his guitar. Bring it to me, and I will give you the power to bend his will." Zahara, desperate and unhinged, agreed. She began plotting how to steal Kofi's guitar, the very instrument that had become his symbol of freedom. Kofi, unaware of Zahara's plans, visited the native doctor in a remote village. The doctor performed a ritual, promising Kofi that his music would have an even greater impact. However, the ritual came with a warning: your guitar is now tied to your soul. If it falls into the wrong hands, your influence will be used against you. That night, Zahara broke into Kofi's studio. She found the guitar, its wood gleaming under the moonlight, and stole it. As she left, she felt a strange surge of power, as if the guitar itself was alive. Zahara brought the guitar to the native doctor, who performed a dark ritual. The guitar began to glow, and Zahara felt a connection to Kofi's mind. She could now influence his thoughts and actions, slowly regaining control over him. Kofi, on the other hand, began to feel a strange emptiness. His music lost its spark, and his fans noticed the change. He became increasingly erratic, cancelling shows and lashing out at his team. Unbeknownst to him, Zahara was pulling the strings. One night, Kofi had a vivid dream. He saw Zahara standing over his guitar, whispering incantations. He woke up in a cold sweat, realizing what had happened. Determined to break free, Kofi returned to the native doctor, who revealed the truth: Zahara had stolen his guitar and used it to control him. The doctor warned Kofi that breaking the curse would require a great sacrifice. "You must confront Zahara and reclaim your guitar," the doctor said. "But beware, the ritual has tied her soul to yours. If you destroy the guitar, you may destroy her as well." Kofi tracked Zahara to her mansion, where she was hosting another lavish party. The guests were entranced by her newfound charm, unaware of the dark forces at play. Kofi stormed in, demanding his guitar. Zahara laughed, holding the guitar like a trophy. "You'll never be free of me, Kofi," she sneered. "Your music, your soul, it's all mine now." Kofi, filled with anger and determination, grabbed the guitar. As their hands touched, a surge of energy erupted, revealing the dark connection between them. Kofi realized that the only way to break the curse was to destroy the guitar, even if it meant sacrificing Zahara. In a moment of clarity, Kofi smashed the guitar against the floor. The room was filled with a blinding light, and Zahara collapsed, her connection to Kofi severed. The guests, freed from her influence, looked around in confusion. Kofi knelt beside Zahara, who was now weak and vulnerable. "I didn't want this," she whispered, tears streaming down her face. "I just wanted control." Kofi, though hurt, showed her compassion. Control isn't power, he said. True power comes from within. Kofi walked away from the mansion, leaving behind the chaos. His guitar was gone, but his spirit was free. He returned to his music, creating songs that spoke of redemption, forgiveness, and the strength to overcome darkness. Zahara, stripped of her wealth and influence, disappeared from the public eye. Some say she sought redemption, while others believe she vanished into obscurity. The native doctor, watching from afar, smiled. The guitar's curse is broken, he said. But its lessons will echo forever.